Hi,
Hello,
and welcome to
Budding Bromance episode
9.
9.
Yeah.
What an uninteresting number.
All right. I mean, there's something a little interesting about it that some people minded of the right alternate the alternate right
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
like alt right, like kind of fascist dudes.
What is 9?
9. It's
Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Yeah, you see, it took me a second, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's that makes it a little interesting sometimes, but
I did have something a few weeks ago we could talk about, right?
a few weeks ago, okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe like 2 or 3 months ago I found out, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can talk about anything from any time. It really obviously doesn't matter.
We don't have a schedule today, so we're doing whatever. It's one of those days,
It is one of
preparing
those
for
days.
episode 10.
Preparing for episode 10. Yeah, this is an uninteresting episode. It's going. The vibes are off. Okay, if the vibes are off for you, vibes are off for me. Trust me, the vibes aren't off.
It's because Easter's coming.
Easter's coming.
We have to repent.
Yeah, Easter's tomorrow.
Yeah.
On the topic of Easter tomorrow, well, for us tomorrow, but for you, last week, this
like 4 days ago.
4 days ago, there's going to be a video maybe coming up, potentially.
Potentially. I think we could do it.
We can do it?
I think I can do it.
We can make it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Great. We'll see. If not, then oh well.
If not, then oh well. Then
we'll save it for Halloween, and it'll be an Easter-themed Halloween.
An Easter-themed Halloween. Nice. Oh, but then we'd have to get like Easter bunny costumes.
Cinco de Mayo-themed Easter. What if we just do that? Like, what if we make a video for the previous holiday on the next one? So, like, Cinco de Mayo, Easter comes out.
Dude.
For what's after that? No.
4th of July.
July 4th? Yeah. 4th of July, we got Cinco de Mayo. That would offend somebody.
Well, of course, but like, whoever would get offended is just weird. I don't know. It's
A right-wing snowflake.
a right-wing snowflake. Right-wingers are pretty, like, snowflakes.
Oh, whoa.
They are.
Right.
Straight up. They're the biggest snowflakes. It's funny.
They get offended about imaginary problems.
Yeah. They get offended at being called snowflakes, which is also hilarious.
No, you can't call them a snowflake because only they can call people snowflakes.
Yeah. Checkmate, liberal. Checkmate, liberal.
Anyway, so I a few weeks ago, well, since I was born, right, I've never been able to burp freely. You know how like most people, like, you can drink a soda and they're just like, bleh, you know? I can't do that.
You can't burp at will.
My throat physically just cannot burp. Like I've never, and I always thought I was like just never learned how, right?
Okay.
So I'd always ask my family, be like, so how do you burp again? And they'd be like,
but you must have been burped as a baby.
no,
So you just farted all your gas out?
I guess so.
Because if you
It passes through one way or another.
Yeah, because what is it like? There's a thing.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I did burp as a baby.
Okay.
As up until I was like 3 or 4, I would burp, right? But so whenever I was like young, I got acid reflux really, really bad. Like it was like severe acid reflux. Like everything would just come up, So I looked it up. Well, I didn't look it up yet, but after that, I couldn't burp anymore. Like after throwing up so much, I couldn't burp anymore. Like my throat just wouldn't let me burp, right? So I looked it up and I was like, is there something wrong with me? Because I thought about to look it up on the internet until now, because I would always ask when I was young and the internet wasn't super reliable.
Yeah.
They didn't have a bunch of stuff about it. And I just assumed that I couldn't burp, right? And I was like, oh, I just never learned how.
I just can't burp.
Yeah, 'cause I tried, I'd tried everything. People would be like, oh, you got to like swallow air and then build it up and then it'll come out, right? Never worked. Sometimes like some air will slip out, like it'll sound like a hiccup. Oh, just rub it in, why don't you? Right? It'll sound like a hiccup, right? It'll just be like,
Yeah.
But other than that, like, my stomach gurgles, and after I eat, and it's not because when your like stomach gurgles, you're either hungry or you need to like poop.
Yes.
It's not either of those.
Sounds of digestion.
Yeah, it's just like the sounds of digestion for me. But because I can't burp, the gas doesn't go anywhere, so it makes my stomach gurgle like a million times more. But like, it doesn't hurt. There's no discomfort. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So I looked it up recently. It was like 3 months ago recently. And I was like, how do I burp? Like, why can't I burp, right? Oh, okay. You're just gonna keep going. Huh?
Yeah. I did actually build up a little bit of gas, so I did have to let that out.
It's like talking about it. I guarantee the viewers are burping right now too.
Yeah. Burps are contagious.
They are. Except for me. I'm immune. Right?
That's true.
So,
hey, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's pretty bad. So I looked it up, right? And I was like, why can't I burp, right? And all of the things on the internet, there's a new study that just got found out, like I think last year or 2 years ago.
Okay.
This is like brand new, like top of the line, cutting edge technology. Just found this out.
Cutting edge technology?
Yeah. Before this, people just thought like, oh, some people just don't know how to burp, right?
Okay.
Apparently, it's a condition. that I physically cannot burp. Like so
You can't burp at will, or you just can't burp in
at
general?
all.
Because
If okay, so like if I'm about to bust, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like you get like a hiccup and it go, you
Yeah.
know, like the air comes out a little bit.
okay, I
So
got
like your stomach won't explode.
Yeah.
Like, but like it's got to be like
So
at
is
the
it like
max
a-
capacity.
Is it like a physiological thing where you might not mentally be blocking it, but
Oh, well, let me get to
Okay,
let me get
okay.
to it. Right. So, when you burp, it's like that thing. You know, when you swallow, there's like a little hole that
Your-
opens, and it's like a little esophagus
your
flesh piece.
your epiglottal flap.
Yeah, your
That's what it's called.
epiglottal flap.
Yeah.
Right. So that thing will open when you burp to let the air out, to let the air escape.
So does it just stay closed?
It just doesn't. It's the
That's-
muscle. The muscle is so tense that it physically can never open.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So basically, anytime you're trying to burp, whenever you get the hiccup, you remember I was telling you I get hiccups sometimes whenever I can't burp, and
It's like
just,
forcing it open.
it's not, because it's what's happening is like the air's coming up, but it's not giving. So it's like
Oh.
the air's just gonna go right back down. So it's like, you know, and it just
Okay.
goes right back down. And that's why the stomach gurgles so much, because the air's just traveling back up and forth between the esophagus a million times, right? But this is what happens, right? The reason people get this, apparently, it is a psychological reason. There's no physical reason for this to happen. And it's mostly happening to people who had acid reflux when they were younger, because they threw up so much.
That their
Or like
body
the throw up was like so traumatic in a way
Mhm.
that their body was like, okay, we're never gonna allow anything to pass through again.
Yeah.
That like, or never, we're not gonna never gonna allow anything to come up again.
Yeah,
right?
to burn your throat or whatever.
Yeah,
To,
because it's
hurt
like we can't let that happen
you.
anymore. So it physically will not let you burp unless you're at capacity. So I looked it up and I was like, well, what's the cure? Right? You got to like be able to relearn how to burp or something, right? And they were like, nope, most people can never relearn. But you know what you can get? You can get Botox.
But Botox on what?
See, that's what I thought, you know? Because Botox, if you don't know, is like a toxin you put in and it kind of like
But it
relaxes
freezes.
your muscle.
No, I thought it freezes your muscle.
Yeah, it freezes it. Sorry, it freezes your muscle. Well, no, it relaxes it. It basically shuts down the muscle for a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. It relaxes it so that it doesn't really move, right? It relaxes it so much it doesn't move,
Yes.
right? Okay.
And it's just like it stops. A lot of people get it for like facial stuff,
Mhm.
facial plastic surgery for like I don't know, just stop wrinkles.
To
You
get
know,
rid of wrinkles,
Yeah,
to get rid of signs of aging,
Basically.
and all that. And then you just have to talk like this, and you can't move your face.
it gets better, right? So what they do is that little flap, the esophageal. Say it again.
Yeah, the epiglottal flap.
The epiglottal flap. They inject that with Botox.
I think that's what it's called, at least.
Mhm. So they put you to sleep and then they inject that epiglottal flap with Botox. It's like a 15-minute procedure, right? You're asleep for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They inject it and you wake up and you'll suddenly be able to burp again. But at that point, you won't be able to stop burping because there's no control over it because your epiglottal flap is Botoxed, right?
Uh-huh.
So for about 1 month, For
you
like
will
a
just
few
be
weeks.
burping nonstop.
just nonstop. And most people say like because the epiglottal flap is like just frozen, you'll be like throwing up again too.
Uh-huh.
But the studies show that I think it's like 95 or 98% of people after they get that Botox, their body adjusts and it's like, oh, he's okay to burp again. Like so like your
So
body
you have to go through a month of torture and constant burping
Mhm.
to and potentially throwing up
yeah.
to eventually just go back to normal.
Yeah, I mean it's not potentially throwing up. You're going to throw up.
Okay.
But it's like, yeah, it'll get you back to normal and then after that, you can burp like for the rest of your life again. Like you'll never need another Botox injectment. Your body like is basically like, oh yeah, go ahead, burp.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We give you permission now.
Yeah. We were just a little scared.
Mhm.
That was it.
But a lot of people they do it on are like they have like severe. Mine's not severe because I don't eat a lot of like food that makes me gassy. If that
Mhm.
makes sense, because I know not to. But I guess it can affect your life if you like drinking beer and stuff. Because apparently alcohol makes
Oh,
you really
yeah.
gassy. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's affecting my life in a way that's like I can't go out with my friends. I can't like
Well,
go eat certain foods.
And you just don't have to drink.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just reading the study, right?
Yeah, I
And
know
they-
what you mean. I know what you mean.
they were
It-
saying-
it could take a toll on some people.
Yeah, so they were saying like those people like they like were so satisfied afterwards. They're like, oh, I can learn to burp. Oh, and then the people who couldn't burp, they went through a second round of Botox treatment, and everybody could burp after that. It was like a 100% thing,
What was the sample size like of people?
somewhere in the hundreds or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It was just one doctor who just was like,
Let me
Yeah.
just try this. Let me see if it works.
because I mean he knew it was the epiglottal flap, right? Because he had it, I think it was.
Yeah.
So he was like, just put Botox in the epiglottal flap and shut it down for a little bit, and it'll come
But
back.
wouldn't you
right?
be afraid of like swallowing something and just having it go into your lungs? Wouldn't that be
I'm
like?
sorry.
Wouldn't that pose a risk?
It might not be the epiglottal flap. There's a second flap that opens just for food, just to your stomach.
Yeah, because I thought it was the flap closed your airways whenever you were swallowing for food,
Yes, it does.
and then it like it pushes like sides so that you can let air pass through, right?
Yeah.
But wouldn't you be afraid of the just food that you swallow going down into your lungs?
I
Because
assume
that can happen.
if I'm not mistaken, there was a second flap just for food. Like
Okay,
not
okay,
just like,
yeah.
and it's not the epiglottal flap. We were probably misinformed about that, but
Maybe this whole thing was just like in terms of like what we were talking about, a little misguided. Again, we're not professionals and we're not the scientists who did the experiment. You just heard about it. You read it. You read up on it a few months ago.
Of course, yeah. So of course I looked into it because I was like, well, how do I get this? Is it covered by insurance? Like, so in other countries, free, right?
Of course,
for free of charge, and you're cured, right? But I looked it up here. It is covered by zero insurances.
Zero?
Because because it's so new, and also because so many people were just told like, oh, you just can't burp. So like, not many people come out about it, but so many people haven't. Like, it's like, I think like it's a ton of the population has this because
Really?
it's basically a lot of people who have acid reflux. Like almost everybody who had acid reflux as a child is probably going to have this now.
My mom has it, and I have, I guess, like heightened acid reflux, but it's only whenever I eat a lot of like really greasy, bad things, which I've cut down on a lot over the past year or so.
It might just be like childhood, like extreme acid reflux.
Because I never really had extreme acid reflux as a child. Though, speaking of acid reflux, I did have it like crazy last week because I drank. Okay, so we picked up Taco Bell for dinner last week at some point, and they don't have any, or I didn't really feel like asking for tea because they gave us the drinks, they gave us the cups for the drinks, and then there was a fountain there, and that was it. Because if you want tea, you have to hand it back to them and be like, actually, I could I get tea instead? And I didn't really feel like doing that. I felt a little nice. Oh, there's gonna be a ton of that with candy.
Oh, are we doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, we're doing that, right?
You want to do the ASMR?
No, like later.
Oh
like
yeah, we're gonna do the candy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Y'all don't know what we're talking about yet.
Yeah.
Or not at all. For a few more months.
You may already if you'd seen the video prior to this one, which might be the candy.
It's possible.
Possibly. Right?
Definitely highly likely, I think.
Highly likely. Okay, dope. Anyways, yeah, so I felt a little awkward. I felt a little socially awkward. Anxious, I guess. And I didn't want to ask.
To get your tea.
Yeah, to get my tea. So instead I just looked at all the drink options and I was like, man, all these have sugar. The only thing that really didn't have sugar was water or diet soda. And I was like, I haven't had soda in so long. Let me just get some diet soda, okay? First time in a long time. I know it's not really good for you at all. And, the artificial sweeteners that they use, whether it be sucralose or aspartame or whatever, right? Like, they're still not good and they could even still affect your blood glucose levels, whatever, right? But 0 calories. It's a sweet thing that I haven't had in a really long time. It should be okay. So I filled up the entire cup with ice and the rest of it, just the small little gaps that were left filled with soda. And I drank all of it for dinner. But for the next 5 or so hours, for the next 5 or so hours until I went to sleep around maybe 1 a.m, I was just nonstop burping.
Oh no.
I felt gas. I ate like 3 Tums to try and like calm it down. It was bad. It was terrible. I didn't feel good, right? It sucked. I was burping a lot. I could feel the acid. It just wasn't fun. It wasn't an enjoyable experience by any means. And I didn't feel like I couldn't, the reason I stayed up for so long is not just because it was uncomfortable, because I felt as if I laid down, it would make it worse, right? So I just had to sit up in my bed doing almost nothing except maybe trying to watch something and distract myself from the burping, which didn't really help. For a long time before I eventually drifted off to sleep and woke up feeling like garbage. And here's the thing. I know it was the soda because the next day I went to my grandma's house and for lunch, she usually, makes food or whatever. But that day, she said, hey, do you feel like having Taco Bell? And I was like, sure, right? Fine. I just had it yesterday, but
this is the start to every diarrhea story right here.
I don't get diarrhea after Taco Bell.
I've only had Taco Bell once.
Really?
I didn't get diarrhea.
Yo, that's it?
Or, no, twice, actually. Twice, I think. maybe 3 times, very few times.
Yeah, okay.
And it was just like every time I try one item and be like, ugh, you know?
I mean, yeah, it's not wonderful, but it for me it's okay, right? But she doesn't really have Taco Bell very often ever, but she suggested it exactly for that reason because we haven't had it in a really long time, or she hadn't had it in a really long time. So I said sure, right? I'm not going to tell her no because I already ate it the previous day. That's kind of like who cares, right? Like you could suck it up. And so we got the food. I ate almost the exact same thing that I had for dinner the previous day, except this time I had tea. And I didn't have acid.
Okay.
Not a single bit. I felt fine. So it was just the soda. I guess my body was so shocked. It was like it's such,
he's having soda.
yeah,
Sound the alarm.
it was so shocked by all the carbonation and all the sweetness and all the everything, all the syrup and all the stuff that was in my body that I just never really have. Like so many foreign substances in there at the same time that just overdrive like acid.
It's like Osmosis Jones in there. Like every siren's going off.
Exactly.
The antacid drops in and a parachute with a like machine gun. You just gets overrun by all the.
And it's just like, fire off the burps, right? Just
Sir, we're getting overrun. Sir, a second antacid has hit the stomach.
Yeah, and then a third, and then I still felt like garbage. They didn't help at all. So thank you, Tums. That was wonderful.
Yeah, we hate you. Unless you want to sponsor us.
Unless you want to sponsor two acid reflux boys, or you don't have acid reflux anymore.
It wouldn't.
Or because you do steps to mitigate it, right? Like
yeah, but I don't get it anymore. Anyways,
yeah, I don't really either. But I might in the future, which would suck. I don't want that. But yeah,
I think I only get it if I eat something like really, really bad. You know what I mean? But like, or if I just eat bad for like a week or something. But other than that, I don't really get it anymore. It's just I can't burp. So I just you look up other steps, I guess, to avoid gas, you know? So I don't want you to think I'm just going around tooting my horn everywhere, because I'm not, you know? But like, there's a bunch of steps you can do. It's just, I just follow that, you know?
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, not a strict diet, but certain things I just don't eat as much. Unless I know I'm not doing anything, then I just toot it up in my room. Right?
Exactly.
There's no harm in that, right?
You just
light a candle, you know?
Except for the ghost that's in your room.
Bro, what if that's why she's haunting me? Did I ever tell that story on here?
No, you've never told it.
Should I tell it?
Sure, go.
Should we invoke evil and speak about it?
We're not going to invoke evil. It's in a different building entirely.
Well, what if it's attached to me though? Because nobody else in the house experiences it.
I don't know. I mean, you go for it. Go for it. Tell the knocking one, I guess.
Okay, so it all started. Well, this isn't where it started, but this is where it really got like serious. So I was home alone. And
I'll say before you go on, because this will take a while.
Yeah.
Before or it won't take a while, but like,
no, yeah, you're good. You're good. Take it down.
Before it started, right? That reminded me of something that I was talking about on Discord with some people last week, where I joined, and a few nights prior to that, I'd been going on a rant about why I was doom pilled and explaining all that kind of stuff.
Why you're so Chad based?
Yeah, why I'm so Chad based, right? Black pilled, and they had been exposed to a long rant and me just going off and talking for a while and being a little unhinged, I guess, or whatever. And then a few days later I join again. It's mainly the same people, but one of them is doing homework and they're like, all right, I'm gonna deafen, I'm gonna do my homework for a little bit, give me a second. It's like, okay, cool. When then my other friends and I were still talking, hanging out, and they started talking about like the concept of determinism, which I've explained kind of.
Oh, yeah.
In the very first episode.
The illusion of choice.
The illusion of choice, exactly. And the one of the ways I explain it is usually starting from the very beginning of time. So I say, okay, this is usually where I lose people. But let's go back to the very beginning of time. Or think of the very beginning of time, or just whatever. And that's whenever they decided to join again. So they're like, all right, I'll be back. It's pretty chill. Like, everything's cool. And then as soon as they unmute, right, ready to join back into a conversation, they just hear me. Let's go back to the very beginning of time. Right? This is usually where those people, but think of the very beginning of time. Yeah, it's not, I guess, what you'd want to hear when you're rejoining.
It's a little Discord unsettling, call. Probably.
Yeah, but it was just, before we... Why was I talking about this?
ghost
from the start, right from the start. It just reminded me from the start.
Oh, from the start, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, you go back to from the start of your ghost story.
Wait, where was your story going?
That was it.
Oh, it's just
It was just determinism and how
okay.
I was going on another rant about
and how you were determined to say that.
determined to say determinism. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's really about it. It was just a funny little thing where you rejoin and then I'm talking about the beginning of time.
Okay. So, anyways, the ghost story, right? So I was home, and I was just chilling, laying on my bed as I used to do. This was like,
as you used to do.
Yeah.
You don't lay on your bed.
I can't lay on my bed. They broke my back last time I did it. This was like almost 6 years ago. I feel like now. Yeah, this was like back in high school, right? So
for me, that was back in.
You were in high school. I'm so sure you were in high school at the time.
I think I was in intermediate school.
I don't think so.
8 years ago, I was in
I'm sorry, maybe it was like 6 years ago. I think I was a junior.
There was no
or
way
senior.
You were a junior. If you were a senior, then that was only. Oh my God! Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, is my math off? No, because
you were a freshman 6 years ago. Were you not?
I don't want to think about that.
So
You're right. 6 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I was in
years
like
ago would make me 8th grade, but okay, yeah.
It was a long time ago. So so much stuff has happened between then and there. But basically, I was laying down on my bed, and my bed is like to the wall. So like, the pillows are to the wall. So like, like that. Just my head to the wall, right?
Yeah.
And I'm laying there, and then I just start hearing knocks. Like, I could do it on the taste. Like. And I'm like, what is that, right? And it just keeps going. And the way my house is set up is my sister's room is directly on the other side of my room, separated by like a thin wall, right? Yeah. I guess it's not thin.
It's a pretty like.
It's a thick wall. There's a good gap between mine and her room, right? Yeah. But like, basically, I know if you knock, you're gonna be able to hear it, right? So I'm like, oh, she's just like for some reason knocking on the wall or like kicking the wall on accident or something. So I'm like, let me know she's doing that so I can hear and it stops annoying me, right? So I just start going on the upbeats, like, like.
Yeah.
And it like, we go for a little bit and it just stops. And I'm like, oh, she got the point across, right? And it stops for like a minute and a half. And then it starts going in doubles, like. And I'm like, man, so she wants to play games now. We can play games, right? I tell this story the exact same way every time. I probably said that before.
It's good. It's good. It's very well rehearsed. Not like my speeches or my rants.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The best ones are unplanned, right? So, I mean, then I start doing the upbeats on the doubles, right? So it just sounds like... And I'm like... And then it stops. Stops again, right? And I'm like, perfect. I win again, right?
I win again.
I win again, right? So then she starts doing triples. And it goes... I'm like, when are we going to stop, right? When are you going to learn your lesson, right? So then, obviously, I do the upbeats. And I'm like, okay. And then it stops, right? And by this point, they're happening like every 5-10 seconds. There's not like a big gap of time, like a minute and a half in between each set of rhythms.
Yeah.
Now we're doing fours, right? And it's... I'm like, okay, here we go. I do, upbeats, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right?
Yeah.
So it stops for like a minute this time. And I'm like, okay, I guess she's done, right? And then it just goes crazy. I just hear this. Like as fast as a human possibly could go. Probably faster than a human could possibly go. Just like tapping on the wall, right? So I'm like, okay.
And you're sure it's coming from the wall?
I'm positive because my head is right here. Like I can feel the vibration.
Yeah, you don't think it would have been like something from the outside, like making the house?
No, there's no way because there's no entrance from the outside to that little. You know what I mean? There's a wall there.
There is. So you just it's just coming from this like localized area.
Yeah,
as if we knocked there.
Exactly.
Knock back.
Yeah, like if you knocked on the other side of this wall, that's exactly what it would sound like.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's going like as fast as humanly possible, probably faster. And I'm like, okay. So I get up and I just start going like on the wall, like as fast as I possibly can. And it's just like pure banging back and forth for like 30 seconds. Like we're just like banging as hard as we can. A
drumming contest.
It literally just a drumming contest on the wall. And it just stops. And that was it. There was nothing else for the rest of the day. No more taps, right? That was around like 1 p.m., noon, around that time. And I was like, okay. So around 6 p.m., I go out to like in my living room and I see my sister, right? And she's like walking from like the fridge back to her room or something. And I'm like, so I won, right? And she's like, what do you mean? For clarification, my father was not home, so it would have just been me and my sister home, right? And I was like, so I won, right? And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, the contest. We were like banging on the wall. She was like, what do you mean? Like when? And I was like, at like noon, you were like banging on the wall. And she was like, I haven't been home all day. I've been at work. I just got home at like 5. And I was like, excuse me? And nobody was home at that point, right? So I was like, wait, hang on. Go to your room and tell me where this is coming from. So I go back to my room and I knock on the wall where it was being knocked from. And I go back to her and she's like, it was coming from my closet. And I was like, excuse me? And I was like, knock on your closet wall for me, right? And I go back to my room, exact sound. That is the sound. Somebody or something was in her closet knocking on the wall, playing some sort of game with me. And just doing either upbeats, or I guess they weren't doing. I was doing the upbeats, just messing with it.
Yeah.
And then it just started like freakish. That's when I realized I was like, that banging was way too quick for like any human to like, just go crazy on a wall like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the end of the story. She told me never to talk about it again, and she told me never to say anything like that again because I guess it was in her room.
Yeah.
But that's the end of that story. Basically after that, I started noticing the weird things happening because weird things would always happen, but I didn't really notice them until that point. And yeah, I guess I'm just haunted, but I don't believe in ghosts, so it's not real, right?
Yeah, it's just what's your explanation
A huge psycho breakdown episode, right? A shared,
like
because there was another scene where multiple people heard something in my house like twice, 3 times, 3 occasions.
Like mass hysteria.
Yeah, it's mass hysteria. That's what it's called. I think it's just a big case of mass hysteria.
But just just hysteria.
Yeah, just Havana syndrome, I guess. Is that what that is?
Syndrome?
Never mind. I thought it was like a psycho. Never mind. That's some sort of government psyop thing. I don't know.
Oh,
it's the government training me to become who they want me to be.
Exactly.
It's
like what was the project, the thing that the CIA or FBI did?
Why can't I remember that?
Right? It's
that's what they want us. They don't want us to remember the name.
Crap. Wait.
What was it? It's
but there were like tons of videos on it. There used to be tons of videos on it.
Yeah.
All the time. That was like the thing to watch, or that was one of the things to watch. It was just
it's Ultra something? Ultra. MK
Ultra.
Yeah.
MK Ultra. Yeah.
Ultra. It's Ultra Beauty.
Yeah, the one at the Target.
Yeah. No, but I mean, after that, like, I guess I just started noticing the weird things happening, and they happen like every few months, right? Like, it's not just consistently.
But when was your last encounter experience?
A few months ago, like 4. It was probably like around December time.
So after we'd already finished filming the little film that we did, right?
Yeah, it was.
So what was it?
Oh, so around that time I was playing Xbox, and I stayed up late back then, right? Like it was like 3 or 4 a.m.
Okay.
And it was just me and my good buddy Philip. If you're watching this, Philip, hello. And we were on Xbox, just chatting, and I was playing like some game. He was playing some other game. We were just talking, right? And I hear something. Oh, I'm sorry. There's 3 of us in total, right? There was another guy named Joe up there. And we were just talking, and then like I heard a girl like talk on my right side. Like it sounded exactly like right here. And I was like, did one of y'all just like play something on the mic, like a girl talking? Because I had my headphones on, obviously. And they're like, no, you did. We saw your mic move as it happened. Like it literally, when you're talking, the mic will, like who's talking will pop up at the top of the screen.
Uh-huh.
Apparently my mic popped up and it said, I am talking, as there was a girl's voice playing.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's in your room? Because they asked right after it happened. They were like, who's in your room? And I was like, yeah, who's in your room? Because I thought we were talking to someone else, right? And they were like, who's in your room? It just played. And I was like, no, one of y'all just played that on the mic. It happened.
You don't think it was just like a little glitch or something played?
No, because it happened 2 more times that night. They heard a girl in my like room, and I heard it too. And then that night also, I felt like breathing on my neck like on 3 different occasions.
But what were they saying? What did it say? Like I know it was like super brief. So like, was there any like words that you could discern or anything? Or
I couldn't tell. It just sounded like a girl being like, or just like like a little like
Yeah.
like just a noise. Like it didn't sound like a voice, or I
Yeah.
guess words, a dialect. But there was like some other stuff that happened. Like I think right after that happened, I have a cabinet in my room with like just like a bunch of junk on top of it, basically, like just miscellaneous stuff, so I don't have to put it on the floor.
Like
And
the
like a little paper fell
the
over
Red
on
Bull
it.
can.
Yeah, no, not that one, not that one.
Oh, not.
It's like on the other side of the door.
Oh, okay.
But like I have like lens wipes on there, right? And I just had a lens wipe sitting up, and it had been there. Like the lens wipes just always sit there, like my entire life. So I've had that lens wipe for like I don't know, probably like 2 months.
And
And
it was
like
just
one of it just fell, like one of the papers in it just fell. Like you heard like,
weird.
and it was just like a bunch of stuff. And then Philip was like, bro, don't talk about it. Oh, this all started because we were watching ghost videos on TikTok, right? There's this guy on TikTok that was being haunted, and I was like, this is fake. I was like, this is not real. Like you can see that. Like I was just making it up. It's just, I guess I don't believe in ghosts, right? So I was like, he probably did this tied a string, had like a whole jigsaw mechanism. He wanted to play a game, and and right. So I was making it up, and then right after I said all that stuff, and we just kept talking about the spirits and stuff.
You heard the voice.
It started happening, and then Philip told, because Philip believes in ghosts, right?
Okay.
He told me, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's probably because you're talking about it, and it's like spirits get energy as you talk about them." He's like, "It's probably not a harmful ghost because he knows about it. Like he knows it's been, I guess, with me for years." He's like, "It's not like a poltergeist or a demon or anything. He's like, it's probably just like a ghost, a person who died and is just messing with you for fun, like just to have fun. Like they're just playing a game. It's not like anything harmful."
I would.
Because he said his mom had one attached to her, and she got like exorcised by a priest, or I'm sorry, blessed by a priest,
Oh, okay.
and it just got rid of it. It never happened again.
Weird.
Yeah, he's big into that, and apparently that's what he thinks it is. I don't think it's happened since then, unless I just haven't been paying attention.
Because you were. Because Philip blessed you. He's like, I'm actually a priest too. I'm the one who.
He told me, he was like, I can get my mom to like get a priest to go over there and bless your house, like the same one that did it. And I was like, I'm chilling.
I'm
like
fine.
I don't. It's not
Like if this is all it is, that's fun.
it's not real.
Yeah, but
It's just mass hysteria, right?
how though? How would you have mass hysteria over a video like a
Because
voice call?
we were all freaked out. We were all talking about the ghost on the TikTok stories.
Well, you wouldn't be able to hear it all at the same time simultaneously. Just a huh.
See, but you don't know that though, because like, what if like Philip heard it and he was like, "Who's in your room?" Right? And then like, because of that, I heard it too, right? And
no,
then
but then you
I
would have
convinced myself.
retroactively heard it. There's no way.
Yeah, like what if I convinced myself, and then I just started feeling like maybe there's just like an air draft in the room, and it just started hitting my
Well,
neck,
I'm
and
sure
I was like,
that could be it, right? But
Mhm.
there's still like the whole matter of like you heard it initially. Like I know you're talking. Your point is like maybe I convinced myself that I heard
Yeah.
it initially, but
I'm trying to convince myself right now,
Exactly,
being like,
right?
maybe I didn't hear it,
yeah, you're gaslighting yourself.
Exactly. No, I'm not gaslighting because it didn't happen. I'm lying.
That's
you know?
literally gaslighting. That is the definition of gaslighting. That it didn't happen. I'm crazy. That's it.
You know how crazy I sound right now? I gotta gaslight myself.
You're
for
gaslighting
you.
yourself.
Yeah. That's probably just some word that I made up. Gaslighting's not even real.
Yeah, I'm insane.
Yeah, I just read it off Twitter or something.
I'm overreacting. I don't know why I'm taking this so seriously. It's nothing. I'm crazy.
There was some one of the ghost occasions happened at the old Symbols before the year before you got in.
So okay, where?
It was so you remember TJ Willis. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So we had a sleepover at his house the night before competition, just so we can, because it was early in the morning, so we just get up and go.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just gonna name drop people. Does it matter?
I don't think it matters. It's like
I'll just say their initial and you'll know. Me, B, and S. Do you know them?
Why? Well, I know S. You've name dropped him before too, or
Not on camera
one?
though.
True. Wait. Oh no, you name dropped somebody with the same name.
Yeah.
And then okay, go on.
Yeah. You know B though? B R. Yeah. So me, B, and S slept in like a shed that was kind of like converted to like, I guess like a guest room,
Yeah.
It had like a restroom and then like the beds where the beds would go and sleeping bags, and then just like a little closet, I guess. That was it. It was really small, right?
Yeah.
So we were all
wait.
sleeping.
I think I've heard this before.
You have heard this. I know
Okay.
you've heard this,
Yeah.
right? So we were all chilling in there, and I was like, "Oh, can you make sure you like close the bathroom door, right?" Because like I was like, it feels creepy with it just being open. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. Like when you just have a door in your house opened, it feels like, and it's just dark. It's like pitch black in that room, and it's just open. You feel like a hand could just like, like reach out and just. No, never mind. Maybe just me.
Well, we keep the restroom door closed because if not, then our dog will get in and then start tearing up the toilet paper. But that's it. That's literally the only reason. If not, the restroom door would be like cracked open, and I don't really care.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, I could see that. I think I just don't have the residual trauma of watching or being exposed to horror movies at a young age.
Well, I saw stuff when I was a kid too.
Exactly.
I didn't watch horror movies. I saw things. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? But like that was just childhood. Children make things up all the time, right? Yeah. So anyways, B was on the bed. Me and S were on sleeping bags on the floor. And I was like, B, can you close the door? Because I just explained it. I was like, it's creepy, right? And they were like, yeah, it's creepy. So they closed it, right? And we all went to bed. And B woke up in the middle of the night. I'm a light sleeper. So like if anybody moves, I'll wake up and then I can just fall right back asleep. So I hear B like, like rustle. And he goes to the restroom. He closed the door. And then I see him leave, and I see him close the door, and I hear like the, like I don't know the noise, like when the lock.
Yeah, when the
door hinge hits, I guess, like when it closes. It's like.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called either.
Yeah,
whenever the knob
when the latch
clicks
hits
into place.
Yeah,
it just clicks.
When it clicks into place. Yeah. So I heard the click. I was like, okay, he did it, right? So I go back to bed, and I wake up, and it's the middle of the night now, and I look over, and the door's wide open, or I'm sorry, it's not wide open. It's creaking. I see it slowly opening, and it's been an hour. I checked my phone, and it's been like an hour since he went to the restroom. The door is slowly creaking, and I'm watching it, and I poke S, and I'm like, S, wake up. I was like, I'm whispering. I'm like, please tell me you see that. Please tell me that you're seeing what I'm seeing. And he looks, and he's like, what are you talking about? Because he's like a heavy sleeper. He's like, he will like, go blind before he like opens his eyes. I'm like, I'm not joking. Like there is something in that room. Please look before it finishes. And he catches it like at the very end, and it's still creaking, right? Because it's going extremely slow. And he sees it, and he's like, what the, And he's like, B, wake up. B, wake up. Did you not latch the door? And he was like, no, I latched the door. Why? Because he's a heavy sleeper too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I heard him latch the door too. Like it closed, like, And he and S was like, look at the door, B, and it's wide open now, And we're all, that meme of SpongeBob like hiding behind the blanket? That's all of us right now, and we're just like, bro, like what is in that room? What opened the door? So at this point, it becomes go check. Who's gonna go check? Right? One of you go check, right? Mm-hmm. So we're just voting between us who's gonna go check it, right? And then we see it kind of like wobble, like something's behind the door. You know what I mean? Like it kind of like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? B, you were the last to go. So if you left the door open, it's on you. So go check. And he was like, man, I ain't scared. He was trying to hype himself up. He's like, I ain't scared. I'll just go right now. And he walks up to the door, and before he goes inside, he's like, I don't do I have to? And we're like, just go. You're already right there. If it's gonna grab you, it's already in range, right?
Understandable. So
he turns on the bathroom light, and we check, and there's nothing. There's not a thing in there.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
And he's like, we close it, and it like, it clicks. And it's like, he kind of pushes on it a little bit to see if it like, maybe it's like a loose.
What I was going to bring up, I know I've heard it before, but I guess I forgot this portion,
mm-hmm.
is that sometimes my door, it's like really hard to latch, right?
Because
it's
mine would do that too sometimes of the year.
So even if it does, like, you hear the little click, you still just lightly tap on it, and it will open. Right?
Yeah, no, but he clicked it very gently, and then he just started pushing, and he was nothing. Like, it just wouldn't open, and he was like, it's locked, like it's latched, right? And I was like, we were all just like, dude, let's just go back to bed. Like, that never happened, right? Yeah. So we all just went back to bed. Mass hysteria. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because really, thinking about it, I was the only one who saw it, right? Because S is a super heavy sleeper who's like groggy, right? Maybe it was just me.
But he woke up and he's like, dude, what's going on? And then he woke up.
Mm-hmm.
B.
I mean, who knows? It's mass hysteria, right?
That's not how mass hysteria works.
Well, how does it work? How would you know?
I don't know. But nobody knows. That's kind of the thing. It's just like the whole thing behind mass hysteria is, all these people are either going crazy and doing crazy things, mm-hmm. or they are seeing things, but like that like they they're seeing things, but it's like lights in the sky and stuff. It's not necessarily, we saw the door open and then we walked over to the door and then we closed it and tested it. And I had to reach over and close the door manually because we saw it open in the first place. That's like a whole different thing.
Yeah. Well,
So they can't
we never spoke of it again. So what if I was just like hallucinating it asleep or something like that?
call one of them up right now and just be like, guys, do you remember this?
I could. We could get a guest star right now on the
A
phone.
guest star right now. Go for it.
Would it pick it up
Right.
on the phone?
It should. I mean, you'd have to like, I guess, put the volume up and like put it right
Nah,
next to it.
no. I don't want to. It never happened. It never happened. Right?
It happened though.
It never did.
It happened.
It never happened.
Call S.
It never happened. It's
Call
not.
it.
It's not necessary.
I haven't talked. I've only ever spoken to him like once. I think.
Should I? Should
Go
I
for
call?
it. Go for it. Peer pressure.
Let's do it.
Gaslighting. Well, not gaslighting, but peer pressure.
I think this is.
That is his name.
We're gonna say his name. We're gonna expose them. I guess.
No.
The call got forwarded to an. The full number didn't get said. I just realized it, but we're good. We're good.
Well,
The first 3 digits, but I don't know if the mic even picked
I'll
it up.
blank it out.
Yeah.
I'll blank it out if it picked it up anyways. But even then, it's just like the area code. There's tons of other numbers afterwards.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Maybe he changed his number, right? It's a sign. It's a sign not to do it. Because if it
Call B.
No, because what if it's real? You know.
I don't know. I never spoke to B. Not once.
Like, all I'm saying is like, what if it's just attached to me? You know what I mean?
I don't. There's no way. It wouldn't have been that same one. If there's like a. If you're going based off of, you know, what other people refer to as like paranormal activity and all this other stuff, there's no way that
what the left refers to as paranormal activity.
Yeah, what the woke liberals refer to as paranormal activity is like one ghost that can speak, but also like push things, like physically like open a door. It's like, I guess, a different level, right? Like it would be a different type, or at least what people refer to as different types, based on my like very limited knowledge of the subject. But then again, who knows? Maybe I could be wrong, and it's just like a ghost that could walk, talk, tap, bang,
Just
push,
do whatever it wants.
do whatever it wants, right?
Oh, we did check one more thing before any of you commenters are telling me it's phony, which it is phony, right? So, we checked to see if the door is one of those doors that just kind of opens on its own if you leave it cracked.
Yeah.
You know? So, we sat there in the middle of the night. It's like 2 or 3 a.m. at this point, right?
Just staring at it.
I was like, just leave the door cracked, and I was like, just see if it opens, right? Because maybe for some reason we just thought we heard the click, and it was like your shoe or something, right?
And it was a draft or something.
Yeah,
that
and
pushed the door open the rest of the way.
So we leave it cracked, and we're just sitting there watching the door, and we sit there for like 15 minutes. It never opens. It's just sitting there in the same like cracked position. Like it's still mind-boggling to this day what happened that night. You know?
Well, I mean, if your memory is accurate for all these events, or for
Which
the
it
ones
could not be. I could be lying. You know, this whole thing could be a phony story.
Maybe, but you could also just call Philip.
I could call Philip right now,
Yeah, maybe try calling Philip,
and he will vouch for me. You want me to?
Go for it.
Okay.
So you stop gaslighting yourself.
I know I'm not. I know he heard it because we've talked about it before.
Exactly.
Is it picking this up?
Maybe.
Oh, where the hell have you been?
Look. Okay, so I'm recording something right now, and I need you to I just need you to vouch for me real quick. Do you remember that night we were on Xbox, and there was like a girl voice that you heard come from my mic, and like everybody heard it, and like it was that night we were talking about the guy on TikTok who's haunted. You remember that?
I think it was me and who was it?
Job.
It was me and Job or me and Ty?
It was you and Job, but you remember it, right? You remember the voice, and you heard the girl voice.
I heard something.
What was it? Because it happened like twice, didn't it?
It happened once.
Once, okay.
I'm trying to think, because after that you got off. What was it? It was a voice, but I don't remember what they said.
I didn't get off right after that. We sat there talking for like 2 more hours because I was afraid to get off.
They said, what was it? It was like a laugh. I thought Joab laughed. That's what it was. I thought Joab laughed, but it wasn't Joab. And it came from your mic.
Yes, that's what it was. We heard a laugh, and then we were like, "Oh, was that Job?" And then Job was like, "I didn't laugh," and it came from my mic, and my mic moved. Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you. Bye. Okay,
Nice.
get him out of here. Right. So
that's audio and just audible confirmation.
Mass hysteria. Right. I mean, no, but he said it himself. He's like, we heard my friend laugh, but it wasn't my friend, and it came from my mic. So somebody in my room laughed. It wasn't a girl voice. Sorry, it was a laugh.
Nice.
And it wasn't me, because I laugh a lot, but it didn't sound like me. I don't sound like Job, my friend who we thought laughed.
Yeah.
Mass hysteria, because who can even recall, right? It was so many months ago.
True, but that, even if the specifics are a little, like even if the specifics vary, right?
Mhm.
They're not like as crystal clear cut as the rest of your as the rest of the event, where people can't agree on some things. That goes for memory of everything, even things that actually did happen. Right? They don't happen exactly as you explain them, because of course there's going to be variation. There's going to be small flaws and dips in your memory, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Right? I can't explain away me getting serious acid reflux from Taco Bell after drinking soda as a mass hysteria.
Maybe your stomach adjusted the next day, and that's why you didn't get it as much.
No, it's the soda. It was just the soda, because again, I had Taco Bell the very next day. Nothing.
Soda hysteria. You have no idea what really happened.
God,
See, we only really know what happens if we look at it from a third person point of view, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what oh man. You know what I read a few days ago? Dang it, I'm out of water. So I was looking up unusual memes, because I like unusual memes, and I know the original account got deleted or something. I don't know why.
On Twitter or something, or what?
No, it's
Instagram
video compilations. So unusual
on YouTube.
memes is like on YouTube. They have video compilations, like version whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. TikTok compilation, funniest memes.
Yeah.
King Batch.
King Batch, big spoon.
Only a spoonful.
Comically large. No, it's kind of that, but it's purely TikToks, really. And it was from a specific account, Unusual Videos, but the videos they would upload every Sunday were called Unusual Memes version, and then the number that followed the one that came before.
Okay.
Right? Cool, fun, funny memes, like pretty nice, pretty entertaining. And they're not dank memes or memes that come from that you would see on iFunny or something, that are like obviously more
offensive and just
edgy, alt-right, kind of like stupid. And because I'd been watching Unusual Memes, and like the account got deleted, or I was looking for Unusual Memes, the account got deleted, and the person, I guess, made a new account, but it was like still pretty small, and like they'd lost a lot of the subscribers and all that stuff. On my recommended the next day, there were other meme accounts too, not just Unusual Memes. So I clicked on, I didn't click on one of those. I was scrolling down, and obviously there's YouTube Shorts interspersed between the actual videos. So I saw one, and it said, it was a caption, right? The dude who hasn't, or getting the best relationship advice from a dude that hasn't spoken to a girl in 6 years or something. And
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I saw that, and I was like, okay, I know what the comments are going to be like already. I know what the comments are going to be like. They're all going to be like, this is true, or blah,
the coach
blah, blah.
The coach doesn't play,
Exactly. So I open it. The best coaches don't play, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or why is this true? Or to get an objective point of view, one has to be completely removed from the situation or whatever. But the thing is, they're all like they all the what would you call it? The cognitive dissonance going on in there is crazy, because they're not, because like they're saying, oh, the best coaches don't play, and to really get a good perspective on the on the situation, you would have to like be completely removed from it or whatever, like saying as if being in a relationship hinders you from giving good advice.
Okay.
Which is like crazy, because somewhere else was saying like, this is true, like this is me, whatever.
He's me.
He's me. Like, I'm the one that does that.
I'm Ken.
Yeah, I'm Ken.
We gotta go see Barbie, by the way. It just came out.
It came out? No, I thought it was July something.
I'm lying. I thought it came out. I'm tripping. The
Mario movie came out.
The Mario movie
trailer did come out a few days ago. It's crazy. It looks pretty fun.
2 tickets for Barbie, please.
2 tickets for Barbie, please.
Sorry, go ahead. The cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, it was just crazy, because you don't have to not be in a relationship to give good advice on somebody else's relationship. Sure, it's true, or there is some I guess there is a point to make of like not being in that particular relationship and being able to give advice on that, because you are from like looking at it from the outside, which is good. You're not like personally invested as much as the person who's in the relationship. I get that. But the way some are framing it, or the way that some were directly saying it, is that like the coaches don't play or whatever, is that you cannot be in a relationship and give good advice, or they don't believe that. Like they don't understand that you could still be in a perfectly good relationship and give perfectly sound advice. It's kind of just like a little like, you know, I guess incel-ish, like a light incel.
I think people say that it's because people in relationships, when they give advice, it's kind of like biased advice to their own relationship. So like, for example, if my relationship had communication problems, and like I solved it by just, you know, some people can solve problems by being toxic, if that makes sense. And then you ask me, you're like, oh, I'm having those same problems, but y'all aren't toxic, right? But I'm like, oh, I solved it by just ignoring her.
Exactly.
Like, in every single thing she said. And then she fixed herself. You know, it's kind of like, I'm going to give you biased advice, and it's just not going to work.
Your own relationship. But that's fine.
But a third party could be like, well, no, I see how both of y'all are coming at this, you know?
But in that case, you're just giving bad advice. You're not really giving. True. You're not like, you aren't personally invested. You're not anything. You're just going based off of your own experience and treating that as if it's fact, right? That's not like good advice. And that isn't necessarily how someone in a relationship would always give advice, right? Because again, someone who's also not in a relationship but was previously in one or something, you know, someone who hasn't spoken to a girl in 6 years could still give that same thing where they're like, yeah, I don't know, I haven't really talked to any females in a while. But what I did with my last relationship that didn't end very well, was we just didn't talk. We didn't communicate. Or you know, like my view on your situation right now is, and then you like cite something or base the argument off of your own personal experience instead of like a more objective analysis. Even though everything we do is like subjective, right, based off of our own experiences and everything, there's still like the option to give a completely third person outsider's point of view, even if you are in a relationship, because if somebody's, you know, coming to me for advice or whatever, which I don't know, I'm not, you know, don't I mean, okay, no, I'm fine with that. Okay, it's just don't take. I'm gonna make a point here. I can obviously give advice based off of my own experience with my relationship, of course. And that's fine, but I'm going to be I'm going to make it very clear that this is based off of my experience, right? I'm going to say, hey, I don't, you know, this is, every situation is different. Obviously, everybody's different. But what worked for me and Allie is this, right? More communication or whatever, or actually speaking, or, you know, whatever. Actually speaking to each other, or that kind of stuff, right? But there, you know, it's still up to you guys. You really just have to communicate, you know, make sure that you know each other and understand each other, because I'm not in your relationship. You guys are the ones that see each other, that speak to each other, that interact with each other, that have this issue between yourselves. I, as a third party, can only do so much based off of my own experience.
But you're not a third party because you're going off your own experience, if that makes sense. Like in the way that I'm like a complete outside third party who's not in any sort of relationship can be like, I can see her side too, and I can see your side. And I see that you're both approaching this from a certain angle that's just not going to work, right? So I can see where they're coming from by saying like a third party outsider who's just never been in a relationship can give good advice, because I think that's a little bit true. But like,
if you've never been in a relationship,
maybe not never, right? But like, you know, the one who's just single.
Yeah, like I saw one. You could retroactively understand that you messed up in your relationship, and you could see why, and then, you know, you could maybe give advice based off of that. I could see that for sure, but still, like, even if I'm in a relationship and still giving advice, it isn't solely going to be, you know, this, right? Like, like, you know, Allie and I did this, and then whatever, like, this is how we solved it, or that's the only advice I can give you, right? Again, I could still look at it from like, okay, you know, maybe they're giving a little more than you are. You could try and do this better, right? Like, I understand that you're not perfect. You know, nobody's perfect. And, you know, if the friend approaching me for the advice is coming from like a more skewed perspective, and they are, in my view, doing something wrong, or like
that's the hardest thing, telling someone you know that they're wrong.
Well, yeah, but, you know, it's just like, man, I'm your friend. Okay, I'm your friend. I know you're a good person at heart, but in this case, you're coming at it from like a clouded perspective. This
Uh-huh.
isn't necessarily the best way, in my opinion, in my view, the way to go about things, right? Not necessarily because I've done it differently in my relationship, but just because as like a human being, right, with lived experience, I don't see this as the best way to go about things or whatever, right? It's that's I guess like an example of like a third party unbiased point that you could make, even if one was in a relationship.
Are you a fan of the double down method?
Doubling down as in like,
When you're wrong, just double down on it.
no.
You're
No,
not a fan of that method?
No, because that's stupid.
But you can trick the other person into thinking they're wrong
That's like
sometimes.
gaslighting. That is again, that's gaslighting.
No, you don't know what you're talking about. It's the double down method.
Yeah,
See, I just did it right there.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, right there.
And you almost got convinced. You were like, maybe it's a real method. I know it was in your mind.
I was not. I was not. But
Are you? No, you were. You definitely were.
maybe I was.
Yeah. See, it worked. Try the double down method.
You should
know?
try the certified double down method. Why did I forget that it existed? Of course it exists.
Yeah. Try it on a person you love most.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Works out every time.
99% of the time, every time.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of people who just, whenever they are very clearly in the wrong, like dig their heels into the ground and just refuse to budge and double down, because it is one of the stupidest things you could do. As a person who can think critically, who has the opportunity to think critically most of the time, obviously, if you're not like, neurodivergent in some capacity or impaired, you have the capacity. You're a human. Then you can think. That's like our one thing that gives us an edge up biologically, at least, over every other animal and every other being on this planet, is the fact that we can think critically and we can verbalize our emotions and what's going on in our minds and all this stuff that's going on around us and how we feel and our thoughts and you thinking critically, right? That's
use your common sense.
That's what use common sense. But even then, common sense can be weaponized a lot. It's like the whole argument, like, more guards in schools or public areas means less shootings. It's like, it's common sense. Of course, they're going to be scared and they're not going to do it there. Like, no, obviously, if you're already prepared to die or like do a mass shooting anyways, just like shoot, and you like understand you're going to die or you're going to off yourself anyways. Who cares if there's guards? Just shoot them.
We're getting doom-pilled. I'm going to backtrack a bit.
It's so stupid. That's such a stupid argument. Anyways.
I will say, I think one of the hardest things to do in life, I agree with what you're saying, but I think one of the hardest things to do in life is to admit that you're wrong.
It is.
Like, I think it's extremely hard. I feel like most people who are wrong know that they're wrong.
To a certain extent, sometimes. Yeah, or they gaslight themselves into thinking they're right, of course.
And they're like, man, like, I'm going to look like a fool if I admit that wrong. And it's like, that feeling is just unmatched.
It makes you feel ashamed internally.
Exactly. But you don't want to feel ashamed, so you double down. Like, I think admitting you're wrong is so hard to do. And people who can do that, I applaud you, because I don't think I'm one of those people. I will double down sometimes, If it's a little thing, I'll double down,
Yeah.
Not anything important. I don't want you to think I'm like doubling down. You know what I mean? But
the
like,
Earth is flat. I swear to you. I promise you. There's people who've drawn on whiteboards before. The mole people. Hollow Earth. The mole person dug into my house and went up in the wall, in between the wall, and then knocked on my wall.
That's exactly what it was. It was a mole person.
Yeah.
That laugh was a mole person watching us play Xbox and laughing.
Yeah. They saw flashing colors and lights, and they were like, "Ooh!"
No, they're evolved. They know. They're like laughing because it's primitive technology to them.
Oh, true.
They're on like the next Xbox, the next 5 Xboxes.
The next 5 Xboxes. Yeah. Because they saw an Xbox and they were like, "Hey, we should do this. We should make something with this." And then they just advanced at a rapid pace, at a more rapid pace than us. But yeah, doubling down for me. This is gonna sound weird, okay? Because I refused. Because I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong
we're happening. It's happening right now.
I wasn't wrong in our conversation between like, somebody in a relationship still being able to give an unbiased, third person like point of view perspective, right? That wasn't like an argument anyways. It's just I wasn't wrong in that regard. But I am very open to admitting whenever I am wrong or incorrect or make some sort of mistake, right? I feel like I have moved past the whole I feel ashamed, and I know I'm wrong, and I can't admit that openly because I will feel embarrassed that you know that I'm stupid, right?
You've evolved then. If you've moved past that, I think you're an evolved human.
I think I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. I care so little about being wrong in the sense, like, not in like any serious sense, because if I'm wrong or like like inadvertently misinforming somebody or something, like that's bad, right? I obviously that's not a good thing. I will care about that. But if I'm just wrong about, oh yeah, you know, this didn't happen this year or whatever, who cares? I don't care. Who my bad. I was wrong. I misremembered. Totally my bad. Or if I'm having like a conversation with somebody or a discussion, and you know I make a point that's not entirely true, or like, you know, there's like something wrong with it. Okay, I get it. I'm sorry. My bad. It's, you know, I'm yeah, it's my bad.
Right.
Yeah, it's, I don't care because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Again, not to be doom pilled, nothing matters. Not to be what's the term? What's the Nietzsche, the dude, the philosopher? What was his philosophy?
No idea who you're talking about. So I don't subscribe to all that virgin stuff over there. You know, I'm a real Chad. How much do you bench, bro?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and I thought not. You know.
Yeah, I really don't, because I don't go to the gym. I don't like benching. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind benching, but I would do it at home, and I don't have a bench at home.
I feel like you can get swole. You know how like people post like the Marvel physique? You know? I feel like you can get the Marvel physique.
Maybe, but
or, like you'll just randomly pop out one day, and like a few years from now, it'll be like a get together reunion pool party, and everybody will be like aged. You know, like we'll all be like bald or like, you know, like old, and you'll pop out like Chad, and you'll be like, dum, you know,
we're gonna be bald in a few years.
I mean, you know what I mean. Like, you know how like
that's
some people
serious male pattern baldness, which you can stop.
Some people just
by
age
using.
Yeah, back to our ad break.
By using this week's not sponsor, because there's no sponsor.
When I say a few years, I meant like 35, 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But like you'll pop back out and you'll be like, you know, toned, chiseled. Like I can see that. I don't know why I just see.
I would like to be, but right now I don't care. Like, I mean, I do care, and I do try and eat somewhat okay, and treat myself, my body okay.
It's a temple. Gotta worship.
Temple, exactly. Which also leads me to, like, I guess also being glad that I don't have like body dysmorphia, which lots of people do, especially, you know, are like Zoomers and everything, because of social media and all that stuff.
Of course.
I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. But this doesn't matter, because I understand that even if I think, you know, I could look better, or I understand, I consciously am aware that I could look better, no one cares. It's not a big deal, right? Like I'm aware that I look decent and I'm fine, and people will see that and not care most of the time. And if somebody does care, you're a vapid, like, you know, self-absorbed, gross person who like judges people based off of their looks. Who cares, right? Why do you care so much? Like, but yeah. So if somebody does care enough to point out some physical feature that you know
those people are the worst. I hate those.
It's just weird, man.
They kill the whole vibe. Like you're out there having fun, and then they're like, "Oh my god, listen to the way he laughs," and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to laugh anymore."
Yeah.
You know?
Well, actually, in that situation, I would, you know, be a little. It would sting a little bit.
Yeah, because it's just like, why you gotta bring? Like, I feel like everybody else feels it in the room too, because everybody stops laughing. Everybody gets like insecure because like, oh man, they're gonna come for me next.
Yeah, like, what if my laugh is also like?
Yeah, I know you ain't laughing, and then they, you know, it's those people are the worst. Yeah. 0 out of 10. Would not hang out with them.
Would not.
Yeah, if you say anything like that to me while we're hanging out, we're never hanging out again. You know, like that's the last time we're hanging out. It's just draining, you know.
Yeah, I completely understand. And you know what I don't get is is the time that we started. I don't remember what time we started filming.
Oh wait, is that what you're saying? We don't get?
No, I don't get I don't remember what time we started filming, so I don't know how long we've been going for.
It has to be an hour by now. It has to be at least 45 minutes.
Let us know how long we've been going for.
Yeah, just type into the comments. We'll read it right now.
Yeah, we will.
40, 46, 25? 40, 47. No, hang on. I can't see it that well. Hang on. Wait, scroll back up. I can't. There, I just scrolled past it. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Okay. It has been 52 minutes. Is what you said. 52:07.
I'm going to say an hour and 1 minute.
It hasn't been an hour. There's no shot it's been an hour.
That's an hour. I can see it in the comment section right there. Look, scroll down a little bit. Yeah, look, an hour and like something minutes. You see it?
Dang.
Yeah.
You're right.
Told you. Scroll back up. Look at us.
Hi.
Welcome back.
We're back. And
it's probably very confusing for mobile people because like the video doesn't move on mobile.
True, and also very confusing for audio because like they don't see anything.
They're like, we have a comment section.
There's 5 stars on Spotify that you could leave.
That's true. Can you do that actually?
Yeah.
Oh,
you could rate it. You should probably rate us.
Yeah, should boost inflate our ratings.
Exactly. Yeah, like our own video, right? Just like our own video. Not commenting's a little obvious.
Yeah.
Like it's a little too. But even then, if you're self-aware of like the I don't know, the ironic nature of commenting on your own video to boost it, who cares, right?
I guess we'll call it there, huh?
Will we? Maybe
not. You want to keep going? Do you have anything else? I'm pretty much out. You know,
pretty much out. Yeah, I've been out of it. I've been out of it for the past few days. Honestly,
it's one of those weeks.
It has been one of those weeks.
I completely felt that.
It's been very draining. I got a 94 on my anatomy and physiology lab exam on Thursday. Before I uploaded the episode 8 for everybody listening. So you should thank me. You should congratulate me in the comments. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Or you should congratulate me by leaving me 5 stars. Leaving us 5 stars. Yeah. Not just me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
our victory, right?
Our victory.
I mean, I didn't do anything for it, but I've been here morally supporting.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
we just slap that like button if you got a 94.
Slap and subscribe and do stuff. Because it'd just be nice.
Share this video with 5 of your friends or else you're going to get haunted tonight.
Oh yeah.
Within 15 seconds. You better hurry.
15 seconds. Doom.
You got 15. 10. 5. You better hurry. I know you're waiting for that send button too. Too late. You're haunted. Sorry. Haunted
forever.
Have fun.
And there will be 17 spiders every night crawling in your ears. Like just wiggling around in there and then like laying eggs so that spider babies can crawl out. That's not a very good image to have. I'm sorry for everybody who just listened to that. But not sorry to the people who have aphantasia who can't imagine things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's the thing.
Yeah. We know somebody who has that, but also yeah, we do.
Who?
His name starts with a J.
Oh,
he's my age, or a little older than me.
Is it in the Discord?
He's in.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He has aphantasia. It's pretty funny.
Good.
Yeah,
good. I'm glad he has aphantasia.
Yeah, good. Yeah. If you're listening, you deserve it. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. My brother has it too.
Oh, really?
He has it. Well, at least, obviously, I don't know how you would go about diagnosing it, if that's a thing, because if not, then he hasn't been diagnosed, so no, right? But upon discussion, like at least half an hour to an hour of just questioning and discussion, like, so you can't, like, picture something. So, like, I know you understand the concept of it, and I know I understand the concept of it too, but aphantasia, for those who don't know, is you just can't imagine things, like you can't form mental pictures. That's it. But we're having a discussion, like, I understand that you understand the concept of something, but like whenever you close your eyes or just you have your eyes open and we tell you to picture something, you say it doesn't appear, right? But I'm not talking about whether or not it appears, because I know it doesn't appear. I can't like physically see an elf here, right? That'd be
there's a condition for that too. There's like 2 spectrums, right? There's like they can't imagine anything, and there's people who can imagine like hyper realistic to the detail like images,
basically controlled hallucinations.
No, not hallucinations. I'm sorry. I don't mean like I don't mean they can't like physically see it. Like if they close their eyes and you're like picture an apple, right? There's people who's just pure black. That's aphantasia, right?
Well, but also it doesn't appear in your mind, is what I'm saying. Like it isn't like you can see it and you can like see the outline and you can like understand the concept of it, but you don't physically see like an apple appear in your head, dude. Right?
No, I see it.
But like I know you can see it and you can like see, like you can form a mental image, but it's not, you don't see like a colorful red apple like floating in a void of darkness, is what I'm saying.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
You have aphantasia. Are you
No, I
joking
don't.
with me?
No.
That's the other
No.
end of the spectrum. So like, okay, so the middle part is yes, you just see like an apple floating in the void, right? And then the other far end is that you see like the hyper realistic apple down to the detail. Like you can see all the little freckles on it. You can see the stem curve.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
I can form like a little image of an apple with the freckles and the stem and everything, but it just doesn't like.
Okay, close your eyes right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna try it. All right. Picture you holding your hand out, right?
Yeah.
Now you're holding an apple in that hand.
Yes, I am.
Turn it over in your hand.
Okay.
You inspect the apple. What are you seeing on the apple?
Well, I was forming an image of just like me from like the side and then like holding it out and like.
So
But
you don't have the hyper realistic one,
I mean, I could see the apple.
but you don't have the hyper realistic, like the super far end where it's like
I switched my POV. I'm zooming in on the apple.
okay, it's from your perspective. You're holding your arm out.
Yeah.
You have the apple in your.
Well,
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
But again, it's like it's a black void that I'm picturing this in.
yes,
Is what I'm saying.
yes.
But I could still. I understand. Like there's like something in my mind going on where it lets me understand it, but I don't like see it. See it.
I don't understand. What do you mean you don't see
Like-
it?
Like I can see the mental image. Mental.
Like you feel it more than you see it.
I feel it, and I could.
Is that
I
not
can make detail.
aphantasia?
I can make detail. That's the conversation we were having with my brother.
Mhm.
He's like, I'm not saying like you can physically see an apple here. That's like a hallucination type visualization where like you will physically see like, oh my god, there's an apple. I reach out and touch it and there's nothing there, right? Not that. What I'm saying is like you could imagine something was there,
Okay.
right? Like there's not an apple there, but you could see like, you know, you could just like imagine an apple sitting there, right?
Okay.
It's not floating there, obviously,
Mhm.
but like you could imagine it. Like you could make a little mental image that it's there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can see where you're coming from with that. Right.
That's it, right? That's what I was talking about. So I don't think I have aphantasia.
But
unless-
I don't. Wait, what do you mean? Like you can't picture it in your mind. You can only picture it in like a physical place. So like, if I told you to just close your eyes, you can't picture it in a void. You can only picture it like on the table here. If I was like,
Well, no,
picture an apple on the table.
I can picture it on a table in my mind too,
Mhm.
but it's just a black. Like I'm not looking at anything. I'm making a mental
do you
image,
mean
and I'm
you're not
looking
looking at
inside my
anything?
mind, but I'm not looking at it. Like I'm not looking. I'm not like moving
Am
my
I
eyes
the
around.
weird one?
I don't know. I don't know. This is confusing, and I don't know where to go.
I'm
with this
scared.
anymore. But we are about to run out of time, so that's where we're going to end it here. Thank you for listening to Budding Bromance. This has been episode 9. Any last words?
Look, I want to try something real quick, right?
Okay.
So close your eyes.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just leave with this, right? So we're gonna try something, right? Just close your eyes. So imagine yourself on a plane, right? Now you can see like your surroundings, right? Like you, I know you probably can, right? Imagine the seat vibrating. Can you feel the seat vibrating?
I can.
There's turbulence.
Yeah, I can. Like it's a black void, but I could like kind of. I could see. I could like.
Okay.
Mental
The,
image. Yeah.
the seatbelt light just came on, right?
Okay.
And there's a flight attendant walking down the hallway saying, "Everybody, there's going to be major turbulence. Please keep your seatbelts." Sergio, you're imagining it too much. Sergio, stop imagining. Ah!